Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Newsroom. Now tonight we are going to be focusing on a very different topic. This video is about the problems of Barcelona. What is going wrong with the team with some special emphasis on La Masia and how a lack of chances is destroying the youth players of Barcelona. Now, I know that this might sound absurd for many non-Barca fans. They might actually feel that Barca are dominating Spain for the past few years and just like the final touch on big European nights. But that's not exactly the case. Yes, Barca have won the league for the past 2 years ahead of Real and Atleti. But you look at the team, the quality they have. With that sort of a team, La Liga is not the only expectation. Moreover, if we leave trophies aside and focus on the performance for a moment, I am absolutely sure that every Barca fan right now will be disappointed with this team. The recent result-based approach of the club hides the level of poor performance by this team. Time and again, we find Barca just dragging to a victory in some way, and someone like Messi and Suarez always have to come to the rescue. And we even depended on a 16-year-old Ansu Fati to save the day against Osasuna. There is a clear lack of balance in this team, a lack of personnel, and obviously we don't want to start about Valverde. This man just allows a few senior players to remain untouched in the first team no matter how bad they're performing, and just expects them to go on and win the game. Now, I believe that the club chose Valverde to succeed Enrique for a very specific reason. Valverde at Athletic Club was doing a very good job with a moderate team, and in a way you could say that he did form a very stable defense at the back with Laporte leading the line. Barca always had an issue with the defense, and it was assumed that maybe he can provide a solution. But that never actually happened. Yes, in his first season initially we thought that things were going pretty well, but it was a far more defensive team with both Roberto and Semedo lining up in a 4-4-2 formation. As time went on and we switched back to a 4-3-3 formation, things turned out to be even worse in terms of defensive duties. And even a number of signings throughout this past 2 seasons didn't really help us find a solution. Moreover, back at Athletic Club, he promoted a lot of youth players and they got their chances in the first team whenever they deserved it. With La Masia declining, it was expected that maybe under him the youngsters of the academy will get a proper chance at the first team. But that simply did not happen and matters even got worse. As time went on, the younger players of Barcelona got lesser and lesser chance, and the current situation is just outrageous. Under Valverde back in 2018, Barca lined up in a game without a single La Masia product. Now, if we focus on the young players in general who are not La Masia graduates, things are not looking good for them either. You look at someone like Jean-Claude Todibo, he was bought in January this year and has performed quite well every time he was given an opportunity. This season, he has played only 2 games, but in those 2 games he was absolutely brilliant. In the game against Inter, he started beside Lenglet and Umtiti, and to be very honest, he looked like the best among them. But after that game, he didn't even make it to the bench. In a Barcelona team, these youngsters only seem to get an opportunity when the senior players are unavailable, and if they are performing at their very best, there is no reward for that either. You look at someone like Carlos Alenia. He performed so well last season and clearly looked to advance into the first team this year. But he only managed to start 1 game, the very first game against Athletic Club, and then he was out of the team. He didn't even make it to the bench for the next 2 months until very recently he got a few minutes here and there. Ricky Puig has not played for a single minute this season. He is far too good to be playing in the 3rd division and has been subjected to a lot of harsh challenges this season. This might turn into something serious as he was forced off injured in a game and had to be carried out in a stretcher. But the club simply does not pay much attention to those issues. Currently, they believe we have a lot of midfielders, and even though players are underperforming, they are making it to the first team week in, week out. The future of these players, as reports of the local media suggest, is away from this club, at least temporarily. Getafe president came out recently and publicly said that he wants Elena in his team. He wants him since 2018 and will discuss the current situation of Elena with Barcelona. Now, Getafe have been simply brilliant from last season and they are playing Europa League this year for only the 3rd time in history. But with due respect to Getafe, it is simply not the right club for someone like Alenia. Getafe is a physical side and I don't understand why the club even considers such a deal. And this is not really the situation with Alenia alone. You look at someone like Oriol Busquets and even Miranda. They were loaned out at the start of the season and they simply didn't get enough minutes. And Miranda simply did not play since moving on to Bundesliga. The club needs to consider the style of play of the team they are loaning the players to. Offloading players to a club with a different ideology does not help the players, and with time they get lesser and lesser amount of game time. Moreover, as Barca offload these talented players, the senior players get more comfortable in the first team and seem to have a guaranteed spot in the first team. Now, this has two very bad effects. The players don't work as hard they once did because they are getting the chance anyway and don't need to fight for their place. Secondly, because they play week in, week out, as the season goes on, they get tired. This often leads to injuries and poor performance from the team when they need to be perfect. With due respect to Bartomeu and Valverde, collapsing on big European nights after winning the first leg is no accident. This simply cannot be an accident, and Barca cannot rule out this poor level of performance and say it was just an accident. Things are simply not right, and the situation must change. Now, consider a situation where the young players get enough minutes to develop and the starting lineup gets enough rest when required throughout the course of the season. Now, at the end of the season, when the big clashes of the Champions League are coming up, you have a well-rested and fully prepared side and even a lot of options from the bench if the young players are performing well. Now, I know this is a very ideal situation and has virtually no chance of happening under someone like Valverde. Moreover, another problem these players face is the expectations of the Barca fans. After the era of Messi, Xavi and Iniesta, expectations always ran high about a young promising talent of La Masia. I believe that's what cost Barcelona a lot of players, and the best example would be someone like Bojan. The fans and the club must consider that it's very difficult to replicate the levels of La Masia of the mid-2000s era. Maybe with time and proper opportunity, these players will develop again and show the world that the academy is not yet dead. La Masia is still one of the best academies of football, and maybe, just maybe, with the upcoming generation, things will get better. That's about it, guys. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think is going wrong with Barcelona, and what do you think is going wrong with La Masia? Thank you as always for joining me, and please stay tuned to the channel.